Part 1. The red string theory. Have you ever felt that no matter how far someone goes, they somehow come back into your life? Like, you try to move on, you distract yourself, you meet new people, but somehow their memory finds its way back to you. Why does that happen? Coincidence or something deeper? What if I told you that somewhere in a way you can't see, there's an invisible red string connecting you to them? Sounds crazy, right? But this idea has existed for centuries. The red string theory is an ancient belief, mainly from Chinese and Japanese folklore. It has been discussed in mythology studies like Handbook of Chinese Mythology. According to this idea, two people who are meant to meet are connected by an invisible red thread, not tied to their hands, but to their destiny. And no matter what happens, no matter how far they go, how many mistakes they make, how much time passes, that thread never breaks. It stretches, it twists, it gets tangled, but it never breaks. Think about that for a second. Someone out there is already connected to you, even if you haven't met them yet, or maybe you already have. In Chinese folklore, there is a matchmaking deity known as Yu Lao, a figure who silently connects people long before they even cross paths. This concept also appears in classical literature such as Strange Tales from a Chinese Studio. And one story stands out. A young boy once asked, "Who will I marry?" The old matchmaker didn't hesitate. He pointed to a poor little girl. The boy looked at her and felt anger. This is my future, he thought. In frustration, he picked up a stone and threw it at her, and then he ran away. He believed he had control over his destiny. Years passed. He grew older, successful, respected, and one day he got married to a beautiful woman. Everything seemed perfect until one small detail. On their wedding night, he noticed a scar on her forehead, a mark that looked familiar. And suddenly it hit him. She was the same girl he once rejected, hurt, and ran away from. And yet life brought them back together. No matter how much you resist, what is meant for you finds its way back. Now pause and think about your own life. Have you ever met someone at the wrong time? Someone who felt right, but the situation wasn't. Someone you lost but never really forgot. Now here's where things get interesting. Because maybe it's not just destiny. Maybe there's also psychology behind it. Human connection and emotional attachment are explored in books like The Laws of Human Nature and Attached. These explain something powerful. We don't forget people who made us feel deeply. Not the perfect ones, but the intense ones. The ones who confused us, challenged us, changed us. Our brain is wired to remember emotions, not just events. And when something feels unfinished, it stays longer. So sometimes, what feels like destiny is actually a mix of emotion, memory, and timing. But tell me honestly, does that make it any less real? Because at the end of the day, whether it's fate or psychology, the feeling stays the same. That pull, that curiosity, that what if? Think about it. Someone you just couldn't forget. Someone who keeps appearing in your thoughts. Someone who felt familiar, even the first time you met them. And you sit there wondering, why them? Why not anyone else? Maybe we don't have all the answers. But maybe, just maybe, we are all connected in ways we don't fully understand. So maybe the person you're thinking about right now is thinking about you too. Maybe the distance isn't the end. Maybe it's just the string stretching. So tell me, do you believe in destiny? Or do you think it's all in the mind? Part 2. Why you can't forget them. Why is it that no matter how much time passes, there's that one person you just can't forget? You try to move on, you meet new people, you stay busy. But late at night, when everything gets quiet, your mind goes back to them. Why? Is it love or something else? Because here's the truth. It's not always love. Sometimes it's your brain holding on to something unfinished. Human attachment is explained in Attached, and deeper behavior patterns in The Laws of Human Nature. Your brain releases dopamine when you feel something intense. And the more intense the emotion, the stronger the memory becomes. But here's the real reason. Your brain hates incomplete stories. This is known as the Zygarnik effect. You remember what you didn't finish. Think about it. A conversation that ended suddenly. Feelings that were never expressed. A goodbye that never felt complete. That's what stays. Not the perfect ending, but the missing one. That's why you replay moments again and again. You imagine what could have happened. You create conversations that never actually happened. And slowly, that person becomes a part of your thoughts. Not because they are still in your life, but because your mind hasn't closed that chapter. And here's the hard truth. Closure doesn't always come from the other person. Sometimes you have to give it to yourself. But until you do, your mind will keep going back. Again and again and again. So maybe it's not that you're meant to be together. Maybe you were just meant to meet, to learn, to feel, to grow. Not every connection is meant to stay. Some people are just lessons, wrapped in emotions. And that's why, even after everything ends, they still lived in your memory. So tell me honestly, is there someone you still think about? Part 3. Are they thinking about you too? Have you ever had that moment where you suddenly think of someone, and then they text you, and you pause and think, wait, how did that just happen? It feels like something bigger, something magical, like you're connected beyond logic.
But is it really that?
Or is your mind playing a pattern? This idea is explored in Thinking Fast and Slow. It's called confirmation bias. You think of someone many times, randomly throughout the day or week, but you ignore those moments. The only time you notice is when they actually respond. And suddenly, it feels special, like a sign, like a connection, like destiny. But here's something deeper. Even if it's psychology, the feeling is still real because you shared something meaningful, something emotional. And your mind doesn't just erase that. It holds on to it, quietly in the background, until one small trigger brings it all back. A song, a place, a time, a memory, and suddenly, they're in your mind again. Late at night, in silence, in moments when you're alone, you feel their absence without even knowing why. And in that moment, you wonder, are they thinking about me too? But maybe it's not about them. Maybe it's about you. Maybe your heart hasn't finished processing it yet. Maybe a part of you is still holding on to what it once felt. And that's okay, because some connections don't end, they just change form. From presence to memory, from reality to feeling. So instead of asking, are they thinking about me? Maybe ask, why am I still thinking about them? Because sometimes the answer you're looking for isn't in them, it's in you.